What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Happy Sunday, everybody. I am coming to you a day late, but I won't be a dollar short. I don't plan to spend a whole lot of time talking, but I do want to share my heart with you today. We will start off with the digital numerology of the day, which is the number 2. And those of us who have seen many of my past talks, I've had the opportunity to talk on each of the digits 1 through 9 so far. So number 2 is known for its duality. It is also associated with the second chakra, which is associated with the color orange, and it is namely the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra has to do with your sexuality, your spirituality, the emotions. It's tied to the body. And today I'm going to speak a little bit about that subject, emotions. And today I believe that we are going to entitle today's talk Sacral Sunday, where we're going to chat a little bit about emotions. I, for one, have been a little bit under the weather the past 5 days. Many of you who are residents of Phoenix understand that when we reach the triple digits, oftentimes we can find ourselves catching the worst colds of our lives while it's triple digits outside. Why, you ask me? Because you're inside and the AC is going so strong no matter where you go that you wind up getting a cold in triple digit heat. So this is not the first time this has happened to me during the 26 years that I've lived here. And last week has been no exception. So Monday and Tuesday, I was down for the count, coughing, sneezing. Wednesday was feeling a little bit better. Thursday, well enough to go to the gym. Friday, almost back to normal. Yesterday, almost back to normal. And today, I feel like I'm almost back to my typical self, but not quite. It's not quite that well yet. But I've come a long way. But why am I talking about this? Well, as many of you are experiencing, there are lots of humongous changes that are taking place. Humongous changes that are taking place in the world and in our own personal lives on a personal level. And these changes are some of the levels of change, and the magnitude of change is bigger than we've ever experienced in our entire lives. And for many of us, we're doing a lot of planning. We're focusing on doing shadow work, working on trauma from the past, working on making sure that we are responding in a present way to potential triggers, making sure that we've done the shadow work so we're no longer dragging along baggage from the past in old relationships and childhood trauma. We're all doing, especially those of us that consider ourselves enlightened, we are doing a lot of work, right? So in that sense, you're focusing on the past. In another sense, you may have anxiety and you're focusing on the future, okay? So now that all these big changes are taking place in my life and in the world and in the lives of those that I love and have relationships with, what do I need to do to position myself to be successful, to position myself for this next big thing that I believe is coming my way because of the work and preparation that I've engaged in and undergone for the past 6 months to a year, right? So there's a lot of planning taking place. With all of this activity, what could happen, and this is happening to me, because you're going to notice that I'm always going to share with you my experience with the hope that there may be something about my experience that will resonate with you and will help you to better deal with what you are, seeing in your life. But I have found that I have been spending time on either side of that, where I'm doing shadow work, focusing on the past, focusing on healing, focusing on getting rid of baggage. And then on the other side, focusing on the future, positioning myself for the new things that are coming, making sure that things are going to be moving in the direction I want them to go into. And when you are doing that, there is a degree to which you are not present in the now. There's a degree to which you are not present sufficiently to feel the emotions that are needing to pass through your aura, needing to pass through your body, needing to be able to help you assign meaning to what is happening in your life. And I believe that has happened to me to some degree. And so my falling ill to some degree over the past couple of days has forced me to come out, to come into my body, to get out of the past, to get out of the future, and to get into my body, and to feel the discomfort of a cold, of sneezing, the discomfort of chills, the discomfort of whatever it is when you are not in your full well-being. You are forced to be in your body, and now that you're in your body, those emotions that you've been compartmentalizing, those emotions that you've been holding at bay or putting on the shelf, are now free to move about the building, that building being your body. So those emotions that need to pass through you, those emotions that you need to feel in order for you to be able to assign the specific and accurate meaning to your life at this time. Sometimes sickness, sometimes being under the weather is just what the doctor ordered. And I have been cycling through some grief. I've been cycling through some pain of loss. And it is really something that I don't consciously remember putting on the shelf. I don't consciously remember avoiding. But God is so merciful. The universe has our back to the degree that we will be forced to be in situations where we feel what needs to be felt so that we can expand and get prepared for what truly is ahead of us. Okay? And so I believe that what I have been experiencing lately, cycling through this grief, getting through these different emotions that have names that I have not yet been able to put my finger on. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful for these emotions. And it's really allowed me to begin to see some things that I wasn't able to see before. And like many of you, I was not looking for this. So I guess I want to encourage you to embrace your grief, embrace your sadness, embrace your discomfort, embrace those emotions that need to pass through you. Sit yourself down and allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to feel deeply. Allow yourself to have these emotional moments without attaching yourself to these emotions. Why do I say that? Well, oftentimes in our lives, many of us have relationships with certain emotions, almost an addiction to particular emotions that have become very familiar to us, such that when that emotion is passing through, sometimes we're so familiar with a particular emotion like sadness that even though it's sadness, it is a familiar feeling. So instead of us allowing it to flow through us, we'll hold on to it. We'll attach ourselves to that emotion so that instead of us allowing the emotion to flow through us, what happens is that we hold on to it and then it takes us places that we're not supposed to go. When you hold on to an emotion, instead of allowing it to flow through you and do the energetic, alchemical type of change for you, through you, that needs to happen to prepare you for what's coming up, oftentimes out of familiarity and out of codependency and out of attachment, we hold on to that emotion, and then that emotion, as it's attempting to flow and move on to where it's supposed to go, we hold on to it, and then we're dragged by that emotion to places that we're not supposed to go. And so those of us who have an issue with depression or with sadness or other types of emotion, it's because we have not developed the skill of letting things go, of letting things like emotions flow through us, letting it go, and realizing that emotions are like the weather that flow through us. But if you are so familiar and have associated yourself, your character, your temperament with a particular emotion, then what happens is that you hold on to that emotion and you become known by many others as having that particular temperament that's associated with that emotion. So you know certain people, they're always sad or they're always a little depressed or whatever. It's because they have not learned how to allow that emotion to flow through them. They have not been able to differentiate themselves, their own unique energetic aura and signature. They have not differentiated that from the emotion. So they think that emotion is part of who they are. And it's not. And so what I've been able to do, fortunately, is I'm allowing these emotions to flow through me. Emotions of sadness, emotions of grief, emotions associated with all the cycles of grief. Some of you know me personally, and some of you know what I'm going through personally. Others, you don't. But I'm going through some very, very heavy transition and transformation in my life. And as such, it is necessary for me to feel these emotions. And so I want to encourage you, because all of us, it's not just me, we're all going through serious, deep, transformative changes and transition right now. Many of us are experiencing many deep emotions, some of which you may not even be able to name exactly what is that feeling, right? But I want to encourage you to feel it. Don't avoid feeling it. Don't run away from the emotion. Feel it. Because if you don't set aside time to feel those emotions and let those emotions pass through you, they are going to just pop up when you least expect it at the most inopportune moments. They're going to show up as triggers. They're going to show up as people carrying an energy that will resonate with you and that emotion and force you to feel it. It'll cause you to be in situations that you had not planned to be in. It'll cause you to be in situations and contexts that are much, much more problematic than if you just sit yourself down, slow yourself down, and feel these heavy emotions that are required for us to be prepared for the newness that is right there waiting for us. You got to feel these emotions, people. So one of the things that I'm hoping you're getting something out of this, but I'm almost done. One of the things that I'm learning to do, knowing that emotions are a necessary rite of passage to move into a new way of seeing life, a new way of experiencing life, a new way of being open to new opportunities. Those emotions are the way that the body prepares itself for new experiences. Your very memories are based on a chemical cocktail that assigns a particular type of emotion to an experience. Your memories are important. And what you're going through right now is also important. So what I'm doing is I'm asking myself some questions. This is a question right now that is related to triggers. And we've been talking about triggers for the past 2 weeks. And I asked myself this question: what are some new responses to old triggers that I have created that have allowed me to see myself and my situation from a new angle or a new light? So how have I responded differently to triggers in a way that allows me to see myself in my situation in a completely different way? When it comes to triggers, and again, these are emotions, many times a trigger is based on an emotion that you refuse to feel. It's an emotion that you've been putting on the shelf. It's emotions that you've been compartmentalizing and deciding that in order for you to meet your goals for the day or for the week or for the month, in order for you to be as productive as you need to be, you don't have time for those emotions. And I know what I'm talking about because guess what? I was the king of compartmentalization. That's what I did for a living. I put my emotions on the shelf and I made sure that I was productive no matter what. Well, I've learned that if you don't want to get triggered and wind up saying and doing things that are out of character, okay, that may even set you back for weeks, for months, for years, it would behoove you to allow yourself to feel those emotions, not tomorrow, not the next day, now. It is a privilege to feel those emotions and to allow them to work with your energy to expand you into something greater. Okay? Those emotions are often the rite of passage to a new way of seeing life and being prepared for something greater than you're prepared for right now. So what are some new responses to old triggers? Let me say that again. What are some new responses, okay, to old triggers that will allow you to see yourself and your situation from a completely new angle and in a new light? Think about that and try that. Next time you feel that you're about to be triggered, realize that The reason why you're responding defensively to a trigger is because you feel unsafe, right? You don't feel safe. That's why you feel like you have to defend yourself. That's why you feel that you don't have the wherewithal to just stand and receive whatever it is that is being conveyed, whatever the message is that's being conveyed to you. You don't feel like you can sit there and just receive it, because inside you is a desire to react, to like stop them, to like tell them no, or not to receive, or to reject what they're saying, because you don't feel safe. But if you cultivate and anchor in yourself a sense of sovereignty, a sense of I'm in this present moment, I own this moment, this is mine, I am grateful for where I am and what I've accomplished. There's nothing that you can bring to me that is going to swerve me off my presiding point. I can sit here and listen to what you have to say and respond or not. I am not afraid that you're going to say something that's going to cause me to react out of character, or to do something that I'm going to regret, or something that's going to set me back. Now, that is something to aspire to. I mean, that's certainly a mindset that you want to aspire to, and we're not all there. There are certain situations that I am not prepared for. There are certain situations that even I have to wait until I'm prepared to be able to stand there and receive the onslaught and the brunt of a particular emotional message from someone else. But the key is to know yourself well enough to know what you're ready for and what you're not ready for. You owe it to yourself to take yourself out of a situation that you're not ready to be in. But if you're ready, go ahead, take it in, and then decide whether or not it actually needs a response, or whether or not there is no response that's needed. Sometimes the greatest response is that I'm hearing you. Tell me more. Oftentimes that's one of the best things you can say. But if you are not in a position to say that, then, get yourself out of there. But the point is that we want to, especially when it comes to the catalog of potential triggers that we are aware of, you want to be able to begin to develop and craft new responses to those areas that have triggered you in the past, those situations in your life that have triggered you. You want to be ready with new responses. This is all a game. And you want to be able to respond in ways that build you up, ways that benefit your growth, ways that allow you to see yourself not as that person who in the past experienced some trauma associated with this emotion, with this particular trigger, but a new person who is in the present and is now seeing this for the first time. Because oftentimes, the person that would be the potential trigger has nothing to do with what the original trauma was that you're reacting to, okay? So let's begin to craft and develop new responses to these old triggers, to these and also potential triggers, so that we begin to see ourselves in a new way, in a new light. So to summarize it all, this is Sacral Sunday. And sacral is the second chakra. And that second chakra has to do with your emotions, it has to do with your sensuality, it has to do with your connection to the body, it has to do with your gut feeling, your gut understanding. It has to do with your spirituality. And so it also has to do with the need for you to feel. The need to feel. The need to stop avoiding those emotions. Feel those emotions, people, especially right now. Your emotions are your friend. They're not the enemy. They're your friend. They mature you. They grow you. They help you to see things from a different vantage point. If you allow them to do their work, let them flow through you without your attaching yourself to them. If you attach yourself to these emotions because they're familiar, because they remind you of something from the past, then what happens is that they become a part of your character, a part of your demeanor, a part of your temperament. Let those emotions flow through you. Learn from them. Let them do to you, for you, and through you what needs to be done at such a time as this. And then just let them go. Just let them flow. That's all I have for everybody today. It's been quite the past 5 days, and I'm hoping that you all are able to release, let go, and feel. Take care, all of you. It's always my pleasure. I love you. Take care and enjoy next week. Bye-bye.